Chapter 412, Another Encounter with Qing. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. In accordance with the agreement, Zhang Yuochen took the 17 girls who were detained in the dungeons away from Demonic Ape Ridge and spent half a day before coming to the official road built by the Fine Gold Federation. All of them knelt down to show their gratitude to Zhang Yuochen. "We are indebted to you for our lives. May we ask your name? We will hold it in our hearts forever." Standing on the head of the monster ape, Zhang Yuochen's stance was heroic, exuding an uncommon temperament as that of a young saint. He said, "I am just an outsider, and soon I will leave this world, so my name means nothing to you." He thought a while and continued, "More importantly, I fear that the Five Elements continent is in a mess at present and your home may already be destroyed. So you'd better live on the fringes of the Demonic Ape Ridge for a month before you go back." The 17 girls were bewildered by his words. There is an old saying, to escort the Buddha you must escort him to the east. To save a man you must take him all the way out of danger. Most of them were ordinary women who didn't even have enough strength to bind a chicken. Given the present situation in Five Elements' primitive world, once they returned to their homeland, it would be their doom. Having rescued them from Demonic Ape Ridge, there was certainly no reason to watch them returned only to die. Zhang Yuochen's finger tapped his storage ring and retrieved 200 second-class blood pills and cast them into the women's hands with a swish of his hand. Each of them got either 10 or 11 blood pills. Master Day and Master Xiao stood on each side of the monster ape, staring at the blood pills in the women's hands, and licked their lips with envious looks. This man defeated the monster ape, so the pills he gave must, even at worst, be of extraordinary power. They too had been trying to flee but were snatched up by the monster ape and brought back. Zhang Yuochen still had a use for them, and so he brought them along. Zhang Yuochen stared at the girls and said, "Taking one second-class blood pill can not only suppress your hunger for 3 days but also improve your physical quality to some extent. You must remember not to waste any." Second-class blood pills no longer had any use for Zhang Yuochen. They were, however, still a priceless treasure for a martial arts novice. After refining the 10 pills, they would have enough strength to knock down 2 or 3 strong men without a problem. From now on, they had the power to protect themselves. Giving those pills were a simple matter for Zhang Yuochen, but it could alter the course of the girls' lives. As an old saying goes, it is better to do one good deed in a day than earn a pot of gold. The 17 girls were all moved and kneeled to the ground once again, clasping the blood pills tightly in their hands as if they were spiritual doses. Zhang Yuochen looked at Zhu Yi and said, "I found the Five Elements statute book in Master Long's abode. This should be a decent rare book. Because you have a talent for this, I want to give it to you for your enlightenment. Their lives will rest in your hands." When he finished his words, Zhang Yuochen took out an ancient book about metal refining and threw it to her. The Five Elements statute book was the ultimate book for practicing spell that Master Longs was extremely lucky to have gotten his hands on. Even if Zhu Yi was the daughter of the city governor of Snowleaf City, she was also delighted to receive this rare book. She held it tightly in her arms as if she would never let go. "Master, will the Five Elements continent really suffer a catastrophe?" Zhu Yi stopped smiling and asked anxiously, with the book still in her arms. "The catastrophe already arrived precisely 5 days ago. If I am right, Snowleaf City would already be destroyed. You'd better not go back for now. If you hide among the barren mountain ridges, you may still survive." Although Zhang Yuochen did not like to kill innocent people, it didn't mean that other students were the same. The invasion of one world by another will always be cruel. People of the weaker world would be slaughtered, enslaved and trampled. The heavens would never answer their prayers. The wars between 2 worlds were too great beyond the strength of one person to reverse. If an even stronger power invaded Kunlun's field, Zhang Yuochen and the people there would also suffer a miserable fate. So, the only thing to do is to keep on cultivating and get even stronger. Seated on the head of Monster Ape with his legs crossed, he quickly disappeared into the horizon. He had stepped into the battleground of the Five Elements primitive world. He was a member of Kunlun's field, and he had his own faction and perspective. "Let's fight." As his cultivation had arrived the dawn state of the heaven realm, his strength increased a lot. It was the right time to meet the top masters of 5 elements primitive world. Zhang Yuochen was guided by Master Day and Master Xiao towards Evil Wood Palace. Purple cloud patterned eagle wood, one of the 5 spirit treasures, was a treasure of the Evil Wood Palace. Furthermore, according to Master Xiao, Evil Wood Palace is the weakest of the Holy Land of 5 Masters on the 5 Elements continent. On that account, it would be the safest to start from there. Zhang Yuochen had also heard from Zhu Yi that the Evil Wood Palace was indeed the weakest. Of course, it didn't mean that Evil Wood Palace was defenseless. As a major force of the primitive world, it couldn't be underestimated. Master Day said, Evil Wood Palace has 4 kings of masters who have detached themselves from the mortal world. Their strength is incredible, and each one of them is a monster who has lived for hundreds of years. In fact, they are the superiors of the fish-dragon realm. Given your strength, even if you met 1 or 2 of them, it would still be easy deal with. However, if all 4 fought back together, even with your godlike strength, you might not be able to defeat them. Also, there is a rumor that there is an array left by the Sage Master in the Evil Wood Palace. 300 years ago, the 10 kings of Sage Masters of the Temple of Holy Fire tried to invade Evil Wood Palace, but they were crushed to death by the array, which is quite horrific. Zhang Yuochen thought to himself that the Sage Masters mentioned would probably be half-saints. 5 Elements primitive world is a few 100,000 years old. Even if the spiritual chi is thin, there could be incredible talents who have broken the shackles and practiced themselves as far as the half-saint realm. The Holy Land of the 5 Masters was supposedly built by half-saints and had a history of 1,000 years in the 5 Elements primitive world. Although the half-saints had passed away for many years, the array they left behind had such a power that ordinary people couldn't break it at all. Master Xiao showed his obedience to Zhang Ruojin and said, "My lord, I have a plan and might be able to rob the purple cloud patterned eaglewood from the Evil Wood Palace." "Tell me," replied Zhang Ruochen. Master Xiao said, "Evil Wood Temple once sent an emissary to demonic Apridge, hoping to have Longs as their elder king. But Longs refused. If you were to visit Evil Wood Temple as Longs, they would definitely regard you as a distinguished guest. That being the case, you would not only avoid being attacked by the array, but also sneak in there without difficulty. If you decide to go forward with it, I can contact the emissary right away." This idea of Master Xiao was indeed attractive to Zhang Ruochen. But Zhang Yuochen didn't trust him. They were disciples of Master Longs, but they had no respect for him, so how could they be trusted to run errands for Zhang Yuochen? What if Masters Day and Xiao joined force with the Masters of the Evil Wood Temple against him once he was there alone? Would that not be walking into a trap? Just when Zhang Yuochen was thinking, 2 silver flying knives shot out from a large river nearby. The speed of the flying knives exceeded the speed velocity. Without even a rustle of the wind, the flying knives hit Master Day and Master Xiao right between their eyebrows. Crack! Because of the great impact, their skulls exploded, flesh and blood flew in all directions. Only 2 headless bodies remained standing. Splash! 2 human figures jumped out from the water. Being enveloped by a layer of genuine chi, their feet leapt in midair and landed in front of Zhang Yuochen just about 33 meters away. Zhijiali stretched out her slender hands and used her genuine chi to retrieve the 2 flying knives. She laughed. "Killing 2 indigenous masters brings my military merits to 77 points. Very soon I will have 100. Zhijiali was a genius student of Saint Xigentry. Her cultivation achieved the advanced stage of the Heaven Realm. It was an easy job to kill 2 indigens at the initial stage of the Heaven Realm. Moreover, it was a sneak attack, so they were dead in 1 blow. King went forward with his hands crossed behind his back, his cold eyes fixed on Zhang Ruochen, who sat on the head of the monster ape, and he didn't even spare a glance on the 2 corpses on the ground. He said, "We meet again. You didn't expect to see me so soon, did you?" Zhang Ruochen remained calm. "That's true," he said with no indication of fear. King straightened his back, raised his chin and said proudly, "Do you know why I didn't ambush you just now?" "Why?" King's eyes were filled with war intent. He explained, "It was my greatest shame to lose to you at Stairway to Heaven. Only by defeating you fair and square can I erase that shame." Zhang Yuochen asked, What makes you think you have the strength to fight me now? The king smirked and replied confidently, you should know that I had arrived at the medium state in the heaven realm before I came to the five elements primitive world. At that time, I was already stronger than you. And now, I have arrived at the final state of the heaven realm. How many attacks do you think I will need to beat you? Zhang Yuochen said, you achieved the final state in just a few days. You must have had an unexpected encounter. The king laughed loudly and said, it wouldn't matter if you know, since you will be dead by the end of the day. I found one of the 5 spirit treasures, golden Ganoderma lucidum, the day after I came to the 5 elements primitive world. I just ate a little piece of it, and it saved me from 10 years of hard training and brought me into the final state in one shot. I don't believe it will be difficult to achieve the completion of Heaven Realm within a month. Additionally, I will soon cultivate the treasured body of Metal Spirit, and I should be successful, so as long as I can reach the completion of Heaven Realm. After which, it will be easy to make it into the top 10,000 of the Heaven Board. Zhang Yuochen replied, you were very fortunate to find golden Ganoderma lucidum. Now, do you dare do battle with me? Laughed the king. The king wanted to defeat Zhang Yuochen in the mind, but what he didn't know was that Zhang Yuochen had gotten the black glazed spinel and achieved another breakthrough in his cultivation. His arrogant manner seemed quite amusing to Zhang Yuochen,